What if there was a hidden connection between your persistent stress, anxiety, and that stubborn fat around your midsection, no matter how hard you try to get rid of it? It's not just in your head, it's cortisol, our primary stress hormone, and it has a direct relationship with the most resistant fat on your body. The good news is that simple drinks can help interrupt this cycle. Today, we're going to explore exactly how cortisol drives visceral fat storage at the cellular level. Delve into the 4 essential minerals your body uses to keep this cycle in check, and reveal 5 specific drinks, what they contain, how they work, and how you can easily make each one. These strategies proved transformative for a friend of mine, Britton, who struggled with weight and blood pressure despite a healthy diet and regular exercise. I introduced him to a specific drink that directly addresses the cortisol-visceral fat connection, and he immediately noticed improved energy, better sleep, and his blood pressure dropping into a healthy range. Within 2 months, he lost 6.8 kilograms, his blood pressure remained stable, and his sleep quality significantly improved. Let's talk about the intricate cortisol-visceral fat connection. Cortisol is our primary stress hormone, essential in short bursts for functions like morning wakefulness, focus, and physical activity. However, it becomes destructive when chronically elevated, which is unfortunately the case for many people. Visceral fat, the dangerous fat that wraps around our internal organs, actively drives inflammation throughout the body. This particular type of fat contains 2 to 4 times more glucocorticoid receptors, the very receptors that target cortisol, making visceral fat uniquely responsive to this stress hormone. Moreover, visceral fat cells contain an enzyme called 11-beta-HSD1, which reactivates inactive cortisone within the fat cell itself, essentially allowing the fat cell to generate its own local cortisol supply. It takes metabolized cortisol and converts it back into its active form. This creates a self-perpetuating loop. High cortisol leads to reduced insulin sensitivity, prompting the pancreas to produce more insulin. Higher insulin then promotes fat storage in visceral tissue, which in turn generates more local cortisol, perpetuating the cycle. Cortisol directly promotes fat creation by activating lipogenesis, the formation of fat in visceral deposits, through upregulating lipoprotein lipase, an enzyme that pulls fat into cells for storage. Research confirms that chronically stressed individuals with high cortisol gain more abdominal fat over time, even when calorie intake is controlled. This visceral fat is metabolically active, releasing inflammatory cytokines that worsen insulin resistance and increase cardiovascular risk. Fortunately, there are 4 key minerals that act as control points in this cycle. First, magnesium, crucial for 300 to 600 processes in our body. Most importantly, regulating the HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This system controls cortisol release. Magnesium supports GABA levels, which acts as a brake in the brain, helping to suppress cortisol-releasing hormone, the signal that tells the adrenal glands to produce cortisol. Stress rapidly depletes magnesium, creating a vicious cycle where stress causes deficiency, and deficiency worsens the stress response. Second, zinc plays a vital role by supporting the brain's natural cortisol shutoff mechanism via the hippocampus. When a stressor passes, the hippocampus senses high cortisol and signals the body to reduce it. Low zinc impairs this crucial feedback, leading to sustained high cortisol levels. Therefore, adequate zinc intake is essential. Third, chromium helps repair insulin receptor sensitivity, which can be damaged by chronically elevated cortisol. Chromium activates the glucose tolerance factor, GTF, which is key for insulin to perform its job, unlocking insulin receptors to allow glucose to move from the bloodstream into cells. Thus, chromium is critical for getting sugar out of the bloodstream, into cells, and improving insulin sensitivity. Finally, sodium. Counterintuitively, aggressive sodium restriction can backfire. While many advocate for low-salt diets, overly restricting sodium can actually increase cortisol levels. When insulin levels are low, for example, due to intermittent fasting, a lower-carb real food diet, intense exercise, or significant stress, the kidneys excrete sodium more rapidly. Research indicates that overly restricting sodium can simultaneously raise both cortisol and insulin, reinforcing the very cortisol visceral fat cycle we aim to break. Chronic stress depletes all 4 of these key minerals, effectively taking these natural control points offline and allowing the cortisol-insulin visceral fat cycle to run unchecked. The 5 drinks we're about to discuss address this cycle from multiple angles, incorporating hydration, specific minerals, adaptogens, and antioxidants. The first drink is warm lemon water. It contains vitamin C, potassium, and bioflavonoids, which are powerful plant antioxidant compounds. Vitamin C plays a crucial role in adrenal function, as the adrenal glands utilize vitamin C at a high rate during the stress response. Emerging research suggests that high-dose vitamin C supplements can directly lower cortisol. While the amount in lemon juice is smaller and won't have a dramatic acute effect like a high-dose supplement, it provides supportive benefits. Hydration itself is vital. Dehydration independently raises cortisol. Starting the day well hydrated removes one stress trigger before it even begins. The bioflavonoids in lemon are anti-inflammatory and support your antioxidant defense system, bolstering your immune system. They also support nitric oxide levels in your bloodstream, leading to better oxygenation of cells and reduced inflammation throughout your body. To prepare this, simply mix warm water with the juice of half a lemon and a pinch of good unrefined salt. Consume this first thing in the morning before coffee. This practice also activates the vagus nerve, which helps calm your body and balance cortisol. It further stimulates peristalsis, promoting better bowel movements and leaving you feeling more balanced and clear. Drink number 2 is matcha green tea. Matcha is a concentrated source of L-theanine, delivering significantly more per serving than steeped green tea because the entire leaf is consumed. L-theanine is a GABA agonist, meaning it increases GABA, the brakes in the brain, and also encourages serotonin levels. Both GABA and serotonin are calming neurotransmitters that are part of our parasympathetic nervous system, counteracting the stress response. Multiple studies show L-theanine can buffer the cortisol spike accompanying acute stress, acting as a buffering effect on the stress response rather than a direct baseline lowering effect. A 2-gram serving of matcha, roughly 1 teaspoon, provides approximately 40 to 60 milligrams of L-theanine, which falls within the range shown to affect stress markers in studies, typically 50 to 200 milligrams. This is sufficient for a mild clinical effect. The caffeine in matcha, paired with L-theanine, produces a calm alertness without the jitters often associated with coffee alone. Cortisol and melatonin have an inverse relationship. Supporting daytime cortisol regulation also supports nighttime melatonin production. Good melatonin production at night is crucial for effective sleep and for cleaning up mitochondrial stress, acting as a powerful antioxidant protecting our mitochondria. To prepare matcha green tea, consume 1 to 2 cups daily. It can replace coffee for a calmer, more sustained energy profile. Some individuals may find it best to consume matcha with a meal to avoid nausea. Drink number 3 is the cortisol cocktail, also known as the adrenal cocktail. This viral wellness trend typically combines orange juice, coconut water, and a pinch of salt. Some variations add cream of tartar, a high potassium source, or magnesium. It's important to be honest. There is no direct clinical evidence supporting this specific combined drink as a cortisol-lowering formula. Health researchers are clear on this, and due to its high sugar content, it's not always the best choice for everyone. However, it's popular online, and its individual ingredients each have independently legitimate mechanisms. The electrolytes, sodium and potassium, from coconut water or added cream of tartar, support hydration, which reduces one driver of elevated cortisol, dehydration. Vitamin C from orange juice supports adrenal function. Magnesium, if added, supports the HPA axis, the brain-adrenal communication system that regulates cortisol release. This drink is best understood as a hydrating, mineral-rich morning drink with plausible supportive benefits, not a clinically proven cortisol-lowering formula on its own, regardless of online claims. To make it, combine half a cup of orange juice, remember the high sugar content, half a cup of coconut water, and a pinch of high-quality sea salt. Optionally, add a pinch of cream of tartar for extra potassium. This recipe is very high in sugar, so it's best consumed only if you're engaging in intense activity and sweating a lot, as the extra sugar will be utilized. If you're mostly sedentary, it's not an ideal regular drink. Drink number 4 is ashwagandha in water, or as a tea. Ashwagandha is the most well-researched adaptogen specifically for cortisol. Multiple randomized controlled trials and meta-analyses confirm that ashwagandha supplementation significantly reduces serum cortisol levels. Its mechanism involves acting on the HPA axis, normalizing cortisol secretion, and preventing excessive elevation during stress. One meta-analysis involving 488 participants across 8 randomized controlled trials showed significant cortisol reduction with ashwagandha, though effects on perceived stress were less consistent, meaning it can measurably lower the hormone even if you don't subjectively feel less stressed. Ashwagandha is clinically proven to work. Typical effective doses in research are 250 to 600 milligrams daily, taken for 4 to 8 weeks or more for measurable effects. To use it, simply take an organic ashwagandha powder, following the product's dosing instructions, typically half to 1 teaspoon in water. It can be taken any time of day, though many prefer it in the morning for focus or in the evening to aid sleep. You can also find ashwagandha in tea bags or use the organic herb with warm or room temperature water. Drink number 5 is an electrolyte drink containing magnesium, potassium, and more. The foundation is quality sodium from unrefined mineral salt, not isolated sodium chloride. Unrefined mineral salt contains numerous trace minerals alongside sodium, which are beneficial for the body. Potassium is the most depleted mineral in modern diets and is critical for breaking the cortisol cycle. Magnesium, involved in over 300 to 600 enzymatic reactions, is key for blood glucose regulation and has a direct stress response modulation effect, calming the brain and acting as a brake on cortisol release. Broad-spectrum trace minerals support every downstream metabolic process. Stress itself depletes sodium, potassium, and magnesium through increased urinary loss, creating a cycle where stress causes deficiency, and deficiency worsens the stress response. Here's an at-home electrolyte drink formula. Mix 1 to 1.5 liters of filtered water with a quarter teaspoon of unrefined mineral salt and a quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar, which provides 495 milligrams of potassium, making it one of the most potassium-dense sources available. Add the juice of half a lemon or lime. These provide trace minerals, bioflavonoids, and vitamin C, all supporting liver detoxification, healthy adrenal response, and balanced stress hormones. Optionally, you can add a small amount of raw honey, especially post-workout, or a pinch of food-grade magnesium powder or liquid trace mineral drops. Drink this daily as a preventative measure, or increase intake if fasting, omitting honey, exercising, especially in heat, experiencing high stress, or using a sauna, as these activities lead to significant electrolyte loss through sweat. When should you use these drinks? It's always beneficial to start first thing in the morning to replenish overnight dehydration. We breathe out a lot of water vapor during sleep, so waking up dehydrated is common. Good hydration with a quality electrolyte drink can help buffer the cortisol awakening response, balancing cortisol levels and making you feel better early in the day. You can also use electrolyte drinks during or after physical activity, sauna use, on fasting days or extended fasting windows, or anytime you experience cravings, fatigue, brain fog, headaches, or muscle cramps, as these are often signs of dehydration and electrolyte deficiency. A good electrolyte drink typically resolves these issues, leaving you feeling much better. Remember, none of these 5 drinks are magic solutions, but each addresses a real piece of the cortisol visceral fat puzzle, from fundamental hydration to specific minerals and genuinely well-studied adaptogens. Start with 1 or 2 that naturally fit into your daily routine, stay consistent, and pay close attention to your energy levels, cravings, and sleep quality over the next few weeks. Now, let's address some common questions. First, regarding when and how much of these drinks you should have. Generally, it's best to consume these drinks away from meals, as drinking with meals can dilute stomach acid. One exception is matcha green tea. Some individuals, myself included, experience nausea if they drink it on an empty stomach. If this happens to you, consume it with food. In general, first thing in the morning is an excellent time for drinks, like warm lemon water, matcha, if tolerated on an empty stomach, ashwagandha, and sugar-free electrolytes to hydrate your body. You can also have them 1 to 2 hours after eating or during a longer fast, provided they don't contain sugar. The cortisol cocktail, with its orange juice, is best consumed right before or after a workout to provide fuel or aid recovery. Second question, can I just use water and salt to help lower cortisol levels? Yes, absolutely. This method works quite well. I've recommended it to many people experiencing brain fog and low energy. Simply take a small amount of high-quality, unrefined mineral salt, place it on your tongue, and drink some water. It's effective for lowering cortisol and also acts as a natural antihistamine, offering a super cheap alternative. Just ensure you get plenty of zinc and potassium from your diet by consuming red meat, seafood, and a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables. For many, this simple approach of unrefined salt with water and a nutrient-dense diet is highly effective. Finally, how many servings of an electrolyte drink can you have in a day? The answer depends on your activity level, stress, and environmental factors like heat. Generally, 1 to 2 servings daily is sufficient. However, if you have increased activity, are sweating a lot, using a sauna, or exercising outdoors in hot weather, 3 to 4 servings can be very beneficial. I personally tend to have around 3 servings a day, as I'm consistently working out and using the sauna, and this works very well for me. I hope you found this information valuable and insightful. If you did, please consider sharing this video with someone who might be struggling with stress or feeling stuck. I also invite you to share in the comments which of these 5 drinks you're going to try first.